The AEW drama continues as Jon Moxley speaks out about his contract status last summer, CM Punk, and the entire company culture. Let's get right into his comments. This is what he said when Renee asked him if he wanted to comment on the CM Punk claims.
No, because nothing has unfolded. It's f***ing annoying. Just because somebody said some stupid shit on social media, that's not news. But it is, and it ends up being a thing. I don't want to get dragged into this dumb shit. I could f***ing unload on a lot of f***ing people right now, and when I start getting dragged into this shit, it tempts me to do that, but I'm not going to f***ing sink to that level.
Jon Moxley is not interested in commenting on the CM Punk situation because he knows that his words are going to get twisted and are exaggerated, and the whole situation will just get even more ugly and toxic. This man really does not want to deal with any stress, especially from social media. That is not surprising because Jon Moxley has always lived a drama-free life. He doesn't use social media. He just wants to wrestle and avoid random opinions from the internet, and honestly, I don't blame him. I do hope that Moxley and CM Punk can settle any issues behind the scenes. Moxley continued and discussed that he wasn't under contract with AEW last summer.
I will say this, I will give you a tidbit of information from my point of view. The entire summer, I was not under contract with AEW. No contract, free agent. I was at SummerSlam weekend wrestling Desperado, and the day of SummerSlam, fucking suplexed him on a bunch of aluminum cans and cut in half. It was fucking dope. I could have walked into SummerSlam that night with the AEW belts if I'd been so inclined. Nobody knew that because I don't put my out there in the world and let everybody know every thing about my business.
I would have never guessed that Jon Moxley was the AEW World Champion without a contract. It is odd that Tony Khan had him win the title after CM Punk got hurt, considering that Cody Rhodes was also wrestling without a contract earlier that year and eventually did leave to join WWE. I mean, look, Cody still fulfilled his obligations and he didn't show up to Raw or the Royal Rumble with the TNT title. It's cool and respectful that Jon Moxley didn't walk into SummerSlam with the AEW belt. I mean, I guess he respects AEW and Tony Khan, but I don't think that's much of a flex though. It does sound like he's trying to emphasize that he doesn't talk about his business around, people and stuff like that, and that is a good thing, but other people are more open with their personal and professional life. I think it all depends on the person and the situation. The conversation did come back to CM Punk and their feud over the summer, and this is what Moxley said about that.
The night in What His Dicks is talking about, Minneapolis, is the night he came back hopping on one foot after me and Jericho wrestled. Badass match, by the way. We're talking later about stuff, bear in mind, and this is my point, I basically don't work there. For all intents and purposes, I don't even work here. Tony Khan is not my boss. I don't even have to be in this room. I don't have to do shit. So even me being in this room and offering and agreeing to a storyline that puts you over at the pay-per-view at All Out 2022, if anything, I am bending over backwards for Tony and for this dude and for the company because I didn't have to do that shit. If anything, I was bending over backwards. So that's it. It's not even controversial. I'm just telling you how it is.
I don't agree with this point. Jon Moxley is making it seem like he could have completely disassociated with the CM Punk program for the AEW title, and that just doesn't make sense because he was the AEW champion, and because of being the AEW champion, he should absolutely have been involved with CM Punk and Tony Khan. You can't just stop showing up to the company because you're not under contract. In my opinion, if you are the champion, as a champion, if you are under contract or not, you still have to fulfill your obligation as the champion. That involves coming up with a story that puts over CM Punk, and that also means being present with the booker and your opponents. Those things are necessary. Let's not confuse the bare minimum of being a champion with bending over backwards for someone. This was his duty as champion. This was his duty of respecting the business and the promotion, and I just think this is a really weird way of looking at things. And finally, Jon Moxley went on to express the toxic drama that's been happening with AEW, and he said,
I will say this, I hate to say it, and I don't think I ever said anything even remotely negative about AEW, but I will say this, as an observer, it seems like I spent 8 years on the indies, a couple years in WWE developmental, and spent like 8 years in WWE, and I've never seen so much bull of drama in one place in my entire fucking life. I hate to say that.
You know you fucked up when you've got Jon Moxley over here stressing out about the drama. Like I said earlier, the man just wants to live a drama-free life. He left WWE and a large amount of money they wanted to offer him to live a happier, stress-free, toxic-free life. But from his own words, AEW's drama is even worse. He's been through it all. The indies, developmental, WWE, and AEW is still the most drama that he's seen in his life. This is a really bad look for the company, and I understand why Jon Moxley said all this. He's really disappointed. The man has so much passion and love for this company, and it just seems like it's disappointing him with all of the nonsense that's been happening. And I don't think this is just CM Punk either. This is the entire company. There was drama with Cody Rhodes. There was drama with MJF. There was drama with CM Punk. There was drama with Miro. There was drama with Andrade and Sammy Guevara. There was drama with Hangman Adam Page, Colt Cabana. There is drama everywhere in that company, and it's only getting worse and worse. Things are not looking good, but things have got to change, and I hope they can change for the better. In other news, Dax Harwood came out and talked about wrestling journalists, and I thought it was an interesting point that he made, so I wanted to include it in the video. Dax said,
I want the fans to understand this. These journalists, Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez, even guys like Sean Ross Sapp, who I do have a little bit of respect for, right? All these journalists who are telling you a story, right? They are telling you a story from their living room or from their studio or wherever that may be where they record their gimmicks. They're not in the locker room.
continued and said,
the people that are telling them, they are the ones who are spitting the story. These people don't see it firsthand. They don't know if I've complained. They don't know what happened with CM Punk and the Elite. They don't really know. They know what they've been told. And I'm not just saying those two instances. I'm saying for everything. They only know what they have been told. And the people that tell them are the exact same people that tell them everything all the time. And they tell them that with their own agenda in mind.
I love that Dax came out and said this because it really puts a lot of things into perspective and it makes us question ourselves when we do get this news. We've got to really think about all the stories that come out and understand that they aren't the full truth. That's something that applies to the Punk situation and everything else. It seems like wrestlers are sick and tired of the bullshit that is being spreaded around, so they want to get the power back and tell the truth. And I really admire this transparency from Dax. And finally, the last piece of news is that WWE is bringing back the original Hell in a Cell structure for the Finn Balor versus Edge match at WrestleMania 39. I'm glad that Triple H is finally getting rid of that red cell. Unlike most people, I actually didn't despise it with all my heart. I thought it was just alright. However, I do prefer the silver one if I had to choose. It's the classic and it does look better. This is just another W under the Triple H era. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next video.